What's going on, everybody? Pete here from my office. It's a little after 11 o'clock on St. Patrick's Day. I know I'm not wearing green. I'm sorry about that. But I did want to take some time to share some more pickups with you. The pickups videos that I do tend to be pretty popular, and I've had a pretty good week. So I'm going to, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show off some of the things that I have added over the last few days, or the last couple of days, I should say. Let's do NES first, and I'm going to try and keep these really short because I don't want the video to go over 20 minutes. This first game is Digger T Rock, which is a game from Rare, published by Milton Bradley, which is from Springfield, Massachusetts, not too far from here. I played this game very briefly and I was terrible at it, so I need to learn what I'm doing with it. It is your typical Rare fare, though. Really cool music, the graphics are pretty good, but I do have to figure out how the game plays. So there was that. There was also Knight Rider from Acclaim. This I also played briefly, and I don't know a lot about it. I've always wanted this game, however, just because there really haven't been a lot of Knight Rider games. As a matter of fact, I think this is the only one. So it was cool to find this. I found this at Game Depot. That's where I found Digger T Rock as well. So thanks to Dave for hooking me up. Uh, this game was from Video Game Castle in Chicopee, and this is The Punisher from LJN. I was psyched to find this because I've seen reviews of this from both Pat the NES Punk, who I'm a big fan of, and also from Cygnus Destroyer, Matt Azero, who is the LJN Defender. And he defends the game with the rainbow on him. And he actually did a very good review of this game. And the game is actually a lot of fun to play. It's like a simplified form of Cabal, which I also really enjoy. So this is pretty cool. I'm glad I found this, and I paid a pretty good price for it. And then last but not least on the NES front, and now I'm pretty much booked as far as NES space goes. My bookcase where all of my NES games are stored, I have room for, I think, for maybe 3 games left. That's all I have room for, so I've got to be pretty picky. But I was happy to find this. This is Xevious, which was published by Bandai, and of course it's a Namco arcade game. And the thing that's cool about this is this link sticker that I'll try and zoom in there, where Link challenges me to get a high score. I thought that that was a pretty cool find on an NES cartridge. So 4 more NES games. Let's do Genesis next, and these I picked up from Video Game Castle in Chicopee. Um, the first game I picked up, and I was psyched about this. This is Outrunners from Sega and Data East. The story with Outrunners that I have is I used to go to an arcade that used to charge a cover, and then used to pay either a nickel or a dime to play certain games. And they actually had an Outrunners machine there that was a dime. So that's where I actually found out about this game, but only played it there. I never played the Sega Genesis version until I picked this up. I found it for $12, which is a little bit less than price charting value. It is a loose copy of the game, but still, it is pretty fun to play and is close to the original is the arcade game as you're going to get on a 16-bit system, I think. Unfortunately, we never saw, at least not that I know of, another home version of this, and that's too bad. Speaking of Outrun, this here is Outrun 2019. I'm sorry. Another Outrun game. There is the Outrun title. This was a $5 game, and it was a game that I didn't have. Now, this game, unfortunately, is not very good. However, it is an Outrun game, and I do like the series a lot, so I figured I would go ahead and grab it. And then last but not least, as far as loose games go, we have Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi. There is the box art right there. I played this for maybe 5 minutes, so I don't really have many impressions of the game, except it is pretty hard. That's about all I have on it, and it was cool to get a Shinobi game. I have that, and I have Revenge of Shinobi, so now the only one I'm missing is Shinobi 3, which is still pretty expensive to get complete in box, so I'll keep my eyes open. Then we have some boxed Genesis games. To start with, we have Chi-Chi's Pro Challenge Golf. There he is in his hat, And you got the little autograph there. I have not had a chance to play this yet. However, if we open it up, the game is complete, and for whatever reason, Ralph actually shrink wrapped the cartridge. I don't know why he does that. But the manual is here. Interestingly enough, too, there are also some passwords that were included. Not that I think that I will use those, so I'm guessing that this doesn't have a battery backup in it, which is too bad. Um, Golf courses beyond your wildest dreams beckon you to set foot upon their fabulous fairways, and Chichi Rodriguez challenges you to play them all and beat them. All right, Chichi, we'll see how this is when I actually get a chance to play it. It is March 17th. It is St. Patrick's Day. Today was also the first day of March Madness. So, one of the things that I did when I was looking for games this week is to try and shore up my college basketball library. And I did find this complete in box copy of Dick Vitale's Awesome Baby College Hoops, which is from Time Warner Interactive. This game is basically Time Warner slash Sega's answer to NCAA basketball for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The difference is that this doesn't have official NCAA licensing, whereas NCAA basketball does. But what this does have is it has a lot of sound bites from Dick Vitale, and it has graphics that aren't quite as sharp. This is fully complete. This has the game cartridge on the inside. Also, you have the Dick Vitale instruction manual in black and white. There is also a poster on the inside slash advertising for Time Warner Interactive with an unfortunate advertisement for RBI Baseball 94, which is terrible. When the poster opens up, I'll try and show it to you here real quick. When you open up the poster, it opens up into Sylvester and Tweety in KG Capers. This is a poster that I will probably not be hanging up. Sylvester and Tweety are two of my less favorite Looney Tunes characters, so I'm not really interested in that. One other thing that I thought was pretty interesting about Dick Vitale's game here is that apparently Dickie V had his own line of merchandise, and I actually have a little foldout that shows that. Here it is right here, so you can get the Rock hat, you can get the Rock basketball, there's all kinds of stuff that you can get from this. The hat was $12, the rubber ball, Vitale rubber ball was $18.95, and the clear ball was $20. So I thought that was pretty neat. Dickie V, of course, one of the more prominent personalities from college basketball, and a very, very positive guy. I love hearing Dickie V call games. Finally, and this is the reason that I'm doing this video tonight, because I have a couple of these. I have in my possession a sealed game, and you know what that means. When I have a game that's sealed, that means I'm going to open it. This is PGA European Tour from EA Sports. This is from 1994. This was $10 from Video Game Castle. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to finish this job here by tearing off the cellophane. Maybe. There we go. So, and we dropped it on the laptop. So there we go. So we'll get rid of that. So the cellophane is now off. When we open up the inside of PGA European Tour, you will see the cartridge. You also have the EA Sports Register Now registration card. Let's see. The following questions are optional. What kind of Genesis video games do you own? Action, adventure, driving, flight sim, role-playing, sports, puzzles, others. How many Genesis games do you own? How many EA games do you own? What other types of EA games would you like to see? How many hours a week do you play video games? How long have you owned your video game system? That's about it for that card. We also, on the inside of the game case, we have an advertisement for the 4-way play, which you could plug into the Sega Genesis, so you could play up to 4 players, obviously. Also, we have, whoops, the chair just dropped. We also have the EA Sports Championship lineup, which has Madden 94, PGA European Tour, EA, FIFA Soccer, NBA Showdown, Bill Walsh, and a few other games. Unfortunately, no poster in this particular set. The last thing, of course, is the um, the instruction manual for PGA European Tour. The instruction manual does fold out at the very end, so you can see more of the EA Sports games that are coming out. The manual is, wow, 60 pages long. Um, this particular game, PGA European Tour and PGA Tour Golf 3 are fantastic. If you've not played any of the PGA Tour games on the Genesis, I highly recommend them. Um, they're some of my favorites. Granted, you can cheat a little bit by getting a calculator and figuring out what the percentage of power you need for your shots. That's kind of what I tend to do when I play these games, but I do enjoy playing them very much. So it's cool. I actually had this loose. I didn't have it complete, so it's nice to finally have this guy complete that I can add to my library. And as we get closer to the Masters, and once we get into golf season in full swing, I'm going to be sure to be playing this a lot. So those are the cartridge-based games. Let's go ahead and move to the disc-based stuff. Um, and we have another sealed game to open, which is exciting. This is from 2003, and this is NBA Shootout 2004, the only NBA game for PS1 this year. This was the last of the NBA games, published by 989 Sports, I believe. Oh, yep, 989 Sports and Sony Computer Entertainment, developed by Killer Game, who wound up developing a lot of 989's titles in the mid 2000s. So let's go ahead and open this sucker up if I can. Um, let's see here. There we go. So we're going ahead and tear this stuff off. I'm sure the microphone is picking that up nicely. You can't see it, but I actually have my corded microphone on a mic stand that I actually picked up last week as well. So now I have both hands free to be able to show off stuff on camera. NBA Shootout 2004 does have an ID sticker at the top that we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and move out of the way so we can open this up. And I'll go ahead and I'll read some of the back of the case here. It says NBA Shootout 2004, the only choice on PS1. Of course, if you were playing PS1 still in September of 2003, you were starting to become part of the minority instead of the majority. Simplified controls are your key to success in the NBA. Run the floor with a touch of one button. Interesting. Create dunk takes slams to a higher level, so now you can create a dunk. That's interesting. I can't wait to try that. Total control is the only way to break down tough D is your opponent doubling the ball. Use total control passing and find the open shooter. All right. On the inside of the game case, as we usually saw back then, we do have an invitation to join the PlayStation Underground. It's free. Boy, I wish we could still do this because PlayStation Underground was awesome. So we have that. We have the game disc, which I'm going to go ahead and turn around so I can show it to you. It's nothing special. The disc artwork is nothing special. You can see the basic 989 design, that oval type design there. And then the instruction manual on the inside. The instruction manual is in black and white, and it is 20 pages in length. Does Iron Eagle do the call for this? Yes, he does. Iron Eagle, by the way, is rapidly becoming my favorite play-by-play guy. Jim Nance and Al Michaels certainly do a great job, but I think Iron Eagle has a fantastic personality. And when I start to do retro referee stuff this summer, I'm going to talk a little bit about presentation and about commentary, because that's a thing that's very important to me. So when we talk about commentary in video games, I'll be sure to talk about that a little bit, and Iron Eagle is going to be up there. So there is NBA Shootout 2004, a game from 2003, which is now 13 years old and has now been unsealed on camera. Pretty exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and reseal that. Picked up some other things. I picked this up, by the way, at a place called, I believe, is Regency Games, which is down in Manchester, Connecticut, in the mall. Really cool place. The only issue I had with that store is their pricing is up there. Some of their pricing is like way too much. But if there's things that you're looking for, if you happen to be in the big mall down there in Manchester, Connecticut, then you can certainly check them out. Going back to Game Depot in Holyoke, Massachusetts, grabbed Caesar's Palace, and the 4 is not the price that I paid for this, by the way. Caesar's Palace, and I also grabbed Caesar's Palace 2. What you may not know about me, I love going to casinos. Now, I don't bring any money to casinos because I really don't have enough to throw away on slot machines, really. But I love just walking around, listening to the different slot machines or watching other people play them. And slot machines these days are just crazy complicated, which I absolutely adore. But the sights, the sounds, the lights, pretty exciting stuff. Not to mention going to casinos is a great way to people watch. So really cool to have these 2 Caesar's Palace games. I think the only one that I'm missing now is Caesar's Palace 2000 for the PlayStation. And I will look to get some of the other Caesar's Palace games for some of the consoles at a later date. This here is Tiger Shark for the PlayStation, a game I have not played yet. This is another game from N-Space, the same company that did the Rugrats games, also did Die Hard Trilogy 2, which I covered in my last pickups video. I don't know a lot about this, except it looks like it's a submarine-type shooter, but I'll have to try this to find out. This is from 1997. Again, my favorite year in console video game history. I love talking about 1997. Okay. This was a guilty thing. I don't know why I picked this up. Maybe it was because I saw a video that just tore it to shreds, and I figured I had to play it for myself to find out how bad it is. This is WCW Backstage Assault. This is from 2000, and this game is as bad as advertised. Oh my goodness, this game is terrible. From the awful character design and graphics to the rather repetitive commentary to the I don't understand gameplay. This was a step backwards for the WCW series after Mayhem, which was actually pretty good. So it's too bad, but yeah, this game is as bad as advertised. Don't buy this unless you're a big wrestling fan. This was a cool find. I'm glad I found this. Now, keep in mind, I've never seen the show ever. I'm probably one of 8 people who has never seen this. This is the X-Files video game for the PlayStation from 1999. This game is a beast. This game has 4, count them, 4 discs. 2, and then we close the case. We open it up, and another 2 more. So it's basically your Final Fantasy type 4-disc extravaganza. Also had the instruction manual, so it was complete. I did play this briefly, and I don't know a lot about it. It is your basic point-and-click game, but it is full-motion video driven, and if you know me, you know that full-motion video games are games that I enjoy playing a lot, so it was cool to find that. And again, that was from Game Depot in Holyoke, Massachusetts, so thanks again to Dave. And then last but not least, I have 4 PlayStation 2 games that I want to run by you really quick, and I think I'm going to get close to 20 minutes. That's pretty good. This here is ESPN College Hoops. Again, I was talking about March Madness and trying to fill holes in my college basketball library. And I actually didn't have this game. I had College Hoops 2K5, which is also fantastic, but not this one. I tend to think for the PlayStation 2 that the 2K4 series, which this is part of, actually tend to run a little bit better. Once you got to 2K5, the Xbox was the lead development console, and you tended to lose a little bit in performance for the somewhat weaker PlayStation 2 console. So this was a great get, and I played a game of this tonight and had a blast with it. Also, speaking of college basketball, I picked up NCAA Basketball 09 for the PS2. I think I'm only missing March Madness 08 now in order to have all of the college basketball games for the system. This isn't as good as NCAA Basketball 10 for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, which is very pricey, nor is it as good as the College Hoops 2K series for the PS2, and more notably for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. I did play College Hoops 2K7 tonight, and I was surprised. I forgot that Vern Lundquist and Bill Raftery were doing the commentary for that, and it sounded fantastic. And don't laugh. This is Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. I picked this up because it was very cheap and I've never played it. And I still haven't played it, so I have no opinion on it. And last but not least, this is Xenosaga Episode 2. I have the first game, so now I have the second, which means I just need the third in order to complete the trilogy. I did play the first game a little bit. I never really got into it too much. I keep meaning to go back to it, but building a library of RPGs for the PlayStation 2, considering how many great RPGs for the system there are, certainly makes sense. And I got this for $5, and it was, despite all of the tags and stickers on it, once we get on the inside, the game is complete. So that was a nice get. So those are the pickups. The one thing that I don't have on camera to show you because I forgot to bring it from Retro Central before I came in here is I also picked up a complete in-box copy of Dracula Unleashed for the Sega CD. So I'm now up to over 20 games for that console, which is great. I was worried that I wasn't going to get that many games for the platform. I still have some games on my birthday wish list that I got my fingers and my toes crossed for, like Revenge of the Ninja, Time Gal, some other full motion video based games because FMV games are some of my favorites. And I'd like to get more of those to my library. Unfortunately, locally around here, there just aren't a lot of places that have Sega CD stuff, and I have done a pretty good job of cleaning out both Video Game Castle and also Game Depot, so they're pretty much spent. And even when I go down to Retro Games Plus in Connecticut, the only games that are left are either games that I own already or games that aren't complete. And I'd really rather not do that if I could help it, especially for a game like Mortal Kombat. So that's everything. I hope you enjoy these pickup videos. Again, I do them when I can. This week happened to be a good week for me because I had a little bit of money saved aside that I was able to spend on games this week, and I got some really good deals. And there may be, again, fingers crossed, and if I can find some good deals, there may be one more pickups video to come this weekend before we expect a major snowstorm here in New England on Sunday. As always, I thank you very much for taking the time to check out my work here on my YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it, and I will try and get a new consolation video up tomorrow, weather permitting, and I can get that done. If not tomorrow, then it will be on Saturday. Thanks as always for watching, everybody, and take care.